If you were to adopt some of the best things from highly successful people, what would those things be? What are some of the best possessions you would keep and cherish that will greatly impact your world in this lifetime? This is the very reason why we created this video. It will showcase some of the best things you can acquire from successful people and why they have them. Number 1. Be skillful. Being prosperous is not an accomplishment, and being a business person is not something that you are paid for. This video is not about being famous or having some form of acquaintances. It's not about how big is your daddy's credit card or how rich is your family. So, we are starting with something that you can work on or to something that you should excel with that can be easily converted to profit. Owning a social media page is not a strong attainment. In fact, it can be considered as a seasonal job for a TikToker. We're talking about famous programming, designing ads, constructing houses and buildings, baking bread, or something that can easily be quantized, evaluated, and picked up by any successful individual. That is actually worth a thing. You will also find it as something these successful individuals are good at and something they have cultivated to make it bigger. You need a starting point to accomplish all these things in life. People are constantly searching for jobs with high starting salaries or industries that they think are big and well established. But in the end, they failed to look at their qualifying skills and those capabilities that they possessed or things they need to amplify those skills. This is not the situation actually. Looking up at other successful people is considered a competency. Competency can be readily converted to a source of income or a good paying job or a successful career. When you develop competency, you can easily excel in so many things. But how do successful people always acquire it? How do they manage to maintain this virtue? Take a look at Elon's parents who already had a big mining operation, as well as Bill Gates' parents who put him in an exclusive program. There are lots of examples here that you can review if you wish to become a billionaire by 30 years old. Some circumstances are destined for most people, while there are some that are to be sought after. But is it okay for you to become a billionaire by 30 years old? If you are satisfied with that, you don't need fortune or wealth, but instead, you need competency. Number 2. Learn to give sacrifices. Sacrifices are like umbrellas that shield and give comfort. Contrary to the belief that giving sacrifice is making your life pathetic, sacrifice is more humanistic in the biblical point of view. More often, you see people posting on social media about their sleepless nights, or you see them barely eating delicious food for long years just to save money. This is stupidity. You don't have to live that kind of life unless you are that broke. Sacrifice is looking for good exchanges. It is like giving up something good in exchange for something better. It is doing the stuff that others can't possibly do or aren't willing to do. You perform duties which others find not interesting for them and they won't do it. Sacrifice brings forth something much better than the one you gave up a while ago. If you practice sacrifice, you will surely be rewarded. You can be in a position much higher than the others since there will be no competition. This is because only a few people are willing to do the same thing as you did. Good examples include the serial entrepreneurs without the security of a stable employment, but were able to bring forth food on your table. In case their business doesn't work out right, they are willing to take the risk and willing to sacrifice. This might be an impossible circumstance where not so many people are willing to do. So, why was this thing included in the list, and how can you say that this is important? It is because living an extraordinary life requires doing extraordinary tasks. For instance, if you are blessed with a sexy body and you want to feel amazing, then you have to work out to maintain that good body. Nobody lifts weight just for fun or does aerobic workouts for pleasure. But they do it because they want to attain something and they want to look extraordinary with a healthy body. No matter what others tell you, remember the benefits of the things you are doing. Gyms will close if everybody thinks that doing exercise will have no benefits and if it cannot make you healthy. The good trade-off is you can spend some time in the gym for your workout and it will benefit you not just a sexy body, but a healthy one as well. Wealth is another classic example. If you want an exceptional financial situation, you need to do exceptional things to maintain it or to grow it. Things like selling it to the highest bidder or starting a good business out of small capital requires dedication and sacrifice to maintain. If you want to have superior mental health, the exchanges will be to engage in therapy and avoid stress. You should also let go of the challenging moments in the past to move on and regain your composure. Consider them as experiences that will teach you to grow. The point is, if you want something of great value, you have to make those exchanges. That is the true meaning of sacrifice. Once you grow with this trade-off mindset, you start living it and you can see the world in a different perspective. So how can you live the principle of sacrifice? The initial step is to search for well-defined trade-offs. If you usually wake up at around 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., basically, there are 3 more hours before the official working hours. The trade-off goes like this. Instead of spending those extra hours doing nothing, you can go for a morning walk or spend these hours in the gym doing workouts. You can also spend them doing creative work. These trade-offs will definitely benefit you, making you feel better to start the day. See, looking for trade-offs is easy. All you need to do is always think of this beneficial principle. Another one is, if you are paid well in your job and you have that extra capital, which is something you can also think of a trade-off. With this extra capital, you can start investing and see how it goes. You can also make yourself familiar with how the market grows and familiarize yourself with its strategies. This is also one of the good trade-offs. If there are good trade-offs, expect that there are also some unideal ones. If you are a social person and you spend your leisure time by hanging around with people and exchanging off your weekends and evenings partying and drinking all night, it is a bad and unproductive trade-off. It will make you more miserable because it will be difficult for you to find things which are more beneficial and worthy of your time. It is better to look around and find things which are easy to trade off, and you have to live with that principle. After you have mastered this skill, you can look for things which are more demanding but will provide you with greater benefits upon trade-off. A good example is when you live simply and spend way below your income to save money. To purchase a house is a big trade-off. However, it can enhance your talents in the real estate business once it becomes successful. But remember, if you fail to materialize in small trade-offs, it will be very difficult for you to engage in big trade-offs like this. This is why if you are comfortable with making sacrifices, whether big or small, it will always be beneficial to your life. It's always the rule. Number 3. Treat yourself as a business. So what does it mean when you treat yourself as a business? It's like imagining that the whole world invested in yourself and you are expecting to have an optimistic tax return at the end of the year. What does it look like when you are paid abundantly? Let's break them and examine the different processes involved. When it comes to accounting, you have to examine if you have sound financial hygiene. This means, are you tracking down things efficiently? Are you aware where the money comes from and its fate? Is your budgeting effective? Can you pay all the balances, track them, and account for the intended marketing? Ask yourself, how can you present yourself to others and to the world? How do you want the world to know you and look up to you? What do you want the world to expect from you? What products are you investing in yourself? Are you willing to try doing things you don't really like? We can't go on forever, but at least you know the point why these things are important. Of course, when you want to live your life nicely, think of it as a business and you are the CEO who manages it. Managing one's life becomes easier when progressive people develop a habit and make routines or schedules because they are actually investing in the company's time and wealth. If you are good at this, the more your life will be fulfilling. Number 4. Show up consistently. If you are concordant in what you do, an efficient time manager becomes the new you. If you are running each day, you become a runner. If you invest money every week, you become an investor without knowing it. And if you wake up early in the morning, you become an early person. So, it is important to evaluate the things you do every single day because they characterize you. This is a great sign because if you want to become a certain person you think symbolizes a good example, and then try to be consistent in doing what that person would do now and then. Mind his looks and everything that defines him. Following that person, you can experience some things which are not ideal to you. And it is at this point where sacrifice is a necessity. This also explains why sacrifice is also the first in the list and why it covers most of the chapter. However, choosing the right and doing it consistently is the most striking thing you must copy from highly successful people. But why did so many people fail to do it? This is because they considered it as boring and unfair because they can acquire most of their time. Let's take this case as an example. If you want to learn a new skill, of course, it needs upgrading of the things that you previously knew. It needs the addition of innovative knowledge and other skills you do not have. But this process can be very boring and tiresome. If you want to add coding as another skill, you must learn how to do it. But before you can code, you must have training on it. Although it is boring, you have to keep doing the same process and be consistent at a specific rate. Do not underestimate what showing up can do. It can be one of the most important things in the list. If you can keep showing up every single day and showcase the things which you can do, your progress is near at hand. It might just take time, but trust us, it will surely happen. That's all for the list today. But for those who were with us until the end, we've got a bonus for you at number 5. Number 5. Mind your own enterprise. Don't compare yourself with others and do not mind those people who are traveling a different journey from you. Don't be frustrated by those who do not understand you and the things you do. Each person is playing their own game in their own preferred ways. It is very important for you to note this. You might see everyone playing their own game in their own little world. This is important because you might easily get confused or might have some doubts. Sometimes, peer pressure also adds to your burden. Others might make you feel a little different from playing your own game. With all these things that can confuse you and give you doubts, acknowledging them will turn out the best in you. Consider these distractions as temporary, but your own enterprise is your own forever without end. So, it's better to mind your own business always. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications as always. To follow Luxzoid on social media, please review the links in the text description of this video. Thank you in advance for your feedback. I am Miss Luxurious, signing off for now. Do not forget to visit our YouTube luxury channel Luxzoid to explore the exemplification of the great state of comfort and extravagant living.